I'm Matthew Detweiler.
And I'm Caleb Bavanka, and this is Lions Awaken.
So today we have another very special guest with us, Enrique Soto Rivera. He was a pastor in Venezuela for 36 years before he moved to America last year, and now he currently works here at Morning Star. And today he's going to be sharing with us the effects of socialism in the Venezuelan church. So thank you for joining us today. It's good to have you. I'm really excited to hear what you have to share with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Enrique, first question. I guess, how did the Venezuelan church respond to socialism when it took over your country?
Well, sadly, the church in Venezuela welcomed socialism with open arms. It's not like people were caught off guard. We saw this coming. Chavez, late dictator Hugo Chavez, when he was a candidate for the 1999 election, he was openly talking, and he was an admirer of Fidel Castro, Cuba's late dictator Fidel Castro from Cuba, and he would praise, the system, the socialist system in Cuba, and so people were, however, he saw the weakness in the pastors about money. Many pastors were preaching, they were prosperity gospel preachers, so they love money, I think more than God, sadly. So Chavez, in his cleverness, he started to seduce pastors with money, offer them money to expand their church, to open a school, and to put an air conditioner in your church. So pastors were lining up, to Chavez, and they became supporters of Chavez. They didn't care about the Bible principle. They didn't care about the Bible. It was all about money. So this was a situation that it caught, I think, not the church off guard. It caught the country because the church should have been the prophetic voice. When we see this evil that has been a catastrophic results in Cuba and in North Korea and in other countries like Russia, we shouldn't have accepted this, and we did.
Yeah.
So that's sad, but that's what happened in Venezuela.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
So now today, do they see through that what they were for in the first place? Like when he came in and they were just like, oh yeah, this guy's what we want. Does the church see through that now, and like how are they responding to him now? Are they still do they still like him?
No, they don't, because of course nobody. I mean, there is like 90%, more than 90% rejection of Maduro's government or regime. Only 10%, but that 10% are the communists, and they are the ones who are plugged in the government. They receive. I mean, they are. The
ones benefiting from it.
So 10%, but the 90% are poor. I mean, the pastors now, they don't. Most pastors, I think, they don't support this government, but they don't speak up because they have fear, because they were the ones who received money. Now it's like the thing is so deep, the evil and the terrible situation. This terrible system is so evil. Now it's like the pastor, because I have talked to them, and I have talked openly in the pastors' meeting. I said we have to repent publicly, not here in this. We need to, we have these meetings, prayer meetings in a big baseball stadium. We should be instead of doing this evangelistic and prayer rallies, which is good, but one prayer we have to do is we need all the pastors here, at least a representative of the pastors, like 10 pastors, should kneel. I said everybody can kneel in that stadium, and we have to repent for supporting this communist regime. 10 years ago or 15 years ago when I started, this was 5 years ago when I told him this. We have to repent publicly. Of course, this could result in persecution for all of us. Oh yes, and that's what they say. That's what we fear. That we, but even if we some of us go to jail, I mean, I hope we don't. But even if we do, why not? I mean, what did Jesus' disciples do in Paul's time?
Right.
They were willing to do anything. What kind of leaders are we?
Yeah,
what kind of Christians leaders? And we have here. We don't speak up. We don't say anything, and we are not speaking against even.
Yeah.
We are repent. We are we are our audience now is the church. We have to repent for letting this happen to us, and for accepting this government, and for accepting this socialism. We have to repent. That's what it does. It hasn't happened yet.
Wow, that's good.
So they don't, they saw through what he was telling them at first, but now they're too far in, and now they're too scared to even speak up.
Yes, that's
wow.
That's what's happening. Yeah,
It's crazy.
Great. So I guess our final question for you, Enrique, would be, what advice would you give the American church today? With the upcoming election really soon here in just a few days. It seems like socialism is right at America's doorstep, and depending on which candidate gets in, decides whether that door opens or closes to socialism. So, what advice would you give the church on how to respond to that?
Okay. Well, what I would say is, see, the church, for example, the church in Venezuela was not united because Chavez was very clever, and he divided the church. Which were pastors against him and pastors which were for him, most of them really. So there was a division in the church. So when we prayed, we couldn't pray in unity. What power does a prayer have without unity? I mean, I remember being in prayer meetings where some people were praying for Chavez and some were praying against the government. I mean, so it's crazy. I mean, how can a country survive a divided church? So what I would say to the American people is, make sure that you are united in prayer and fasting. And I believe I have been for a year and a half in this country, and I see that people are united. The churches are praying and they are fasting, and they are united in praying against this. I hope it never comes to the United States, this communism. But another thing they should do is, the American churches should do, is to not forget the education. See, Marxists in the past, 50 years ago, they aimed at education, and so they taught in the universities, all these Marxist professors. So they molded the minds of the students, the youth, and the youth, and so that's one problem that and Christians didn't do much about it. I mean, they let the Marxists take over the universities, where the future of the country is. See, the future leaders of the country are in the universities. So how can you let all these professors, Marxist professors, be there? So now they are aiming at the White House, of course, because they already have the mindset has changed because of education. So now you have to really aim at education, so that the mindset of people in a few years will start coming, and they will value liberty, the liberty that so many Americans paid with their blood and with a lot of sacrifice. So you have to value your liberty.
Wow.
Well, that'll probably wrap it up for today. But thank you very much for sharing today. That was awesome. We appreciate you. It's been a blessing.
Sure.
So, be encouraged, church. Stay strong, and be united in prayer with each other. Because united we stand, divided we fall. So stay tuned for our next video, which we will be discussing another controversial issue that we are facing during this time. God bless you, and God bless America.